First, the question, are there any flying saucers? Now, some people get very angry at me for using the word flying saucers. Why don't you say UFOs, Stan? Flying saucers, that's a tabloid bit of nomenclature. That's not so. I want to make a very clear-cut distinction between flying saucers and UFOs. All flying saucers are unidentified flying objects. Very few unidentified flying objects are flying saucers. And besides, UFOs didn't come into use until after 1950, and I'm interested especially what happened in 1947, when it was flying saucers, flying discs. You know, there's nothing wrong with the term. So don't get mad at me for using the word. I've used it for many years. My lecture is normally flying saucers are real, and I'm not ashamed of it at all.
Next speaker is Stanton T. Friedman, known as the flying saucer physicist, a nuclear physicist by background, and a noted author, and one of our longtime supporters.
I'm cute. I've spoken at more MUFON conferences than anybody. That's because I'm older than most of the guys up here. Worked in industry on more canceled government-sponsored advanced research and development programs than anybody that I've ever met. Nuclear airplanes, fission and fusion rockets, nuclear power plants for space. Little companies like General Electric, Westinghouse, General Motors, TRW System, McDonnell Douglas. I've focused particularly on the Roswell incident. Somebody called me the grandfather of Roswell. It used to be the father of Roswell, but I guess I'm getting older. I get around. Noisy, that's what I am. I talk about noisy negativist. I'm a noisy positivist. How's that?
Mr. Friedman has spoken at more than 600 colleges and over 100 professional groups in the 50 states, 9 Canadian provinces, and 13 countries. He's published over 70 UFO articles, co-authored the book Crash at Corona, the definitive study of the Roswell incident. His 1996 book about the Operation Majestic 12 Top Secret Magic is in its 6th printing. The title of Mr. Friedman's program is Flying Saucers and the Cosmic Neighborhood, and he'll be looking at just where these folks might be coming from. Dan?
The more lecturing I did, the more I realized that I really enjoyed being on the stage. The bigger the crowd, the happier I was. And secondly, I found that I like people. I stand behind a table with information sheets, with books and stuff. People are always wanting to tell me about their experiences. Yeah. There's no question that some people think, well, maybe that was a flying saucer, and they sent all these shells.
Go across the sky.
Oh, you did see the thing in the sky?
Oh, sure. From Southgate, it was about this level. The thing that hit me is when you came to the part in your film, well, I mean in your video, in reference to the smoke round or whatever it's called.
Ionized air plasma around.
Yeah. Well, it was something like this.
Even though they don't provide classified documentation, when the seemingly respectable people independently all over the world tell me the same kinds of stories, I can't dismiss it. So you get your finger on the pulse of what's going on when you do enough lectures in enough places, and because I come on so strong, they know I'm not going to laugh at them.
Let's get rid of another myth. There are too darn many apologist ufologists, because many people on both sides of the aisle, so to speak, have accepted the notion that most people don't believe in flying saucers. I have no idea why. I've had 11 hecklers in over 700 lectures, and 2 of them were drunk. You're going to get that many if you talk about religion, sports, politics. There's no big risk here in sticking your neck out. But people's actions are determined by their perception of what other people are going to say in response to what they say. It's okay. Here's several Gallup polls. They show not only that believers outnumber non-believers, the real over the imaginary, but that the greater the education, the more likely to believe in flying saucers. That comes as a real shocker.
We in MUFON have our UFO evangelists. Stanton Friedman is my favorite UFO evangelist. When Dwight Connolly did his MUFON UFO Journal profile on Stan, his title was Stanton Friedman Spreads the Word. Stan would make a great Jewish UFO Presbyterian preacher. An idea which newspaper people and Alan Hynek would say has a high degree of strangeness.